All right, we're live. This is episode 14 of the Pro Go Baduk Weiqi Podcast. Again, you have Xiao Dai over here and
Gaza.
Gaza. All right, Gaza, let's get into it. We have another pretty packed week. Something just happened, but we may or may not get time to talk about it. So this week we're covering the Lee Donghoon, a little bit about the Yi League. So Yi is Chinese for basically second division. And the Nongshim Cup qualifiers. Definitely covered China, but we might verbalize the Korean results. And also Myunjin. Did I miss anything? No.
I think there was some. Oh yeah, the YK Construction Cup.
Oh yeah, of course, the YK Construction Cup. Yeah, that was a big one. So let's get started with Lee Donghyun incident. What's happened over there?
Yeah, so the Lidong situation has sort of been in the news in the past week.
Yeah.
It's been reported on Reddit that he's submitted retirement papers.
Yeah.
But this isn't a sort of a sudden thing that's happened. This is, I mean, if you've been following the Korean professional scene, this is, something that's been noticeable for a few months, that something was strange regarding Lee Dong-hoon.
Correct.
I want to try and give all the publicly available information so that there's no sort of misconceptions. But essentially, Lee Dong-hoon has not entered any professional tournaments since September last year.
Right.
So essentially in Korea, and I think in every professional scene, essentially to play in tournaments, you have to enter the qualifiers.
Yeah.
Of course, some players are, strong enough that they get seeded directly into the tournament, and Lee Dong-hoon wasn't quite that level. He was pretty close, but not quite.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you have to enter the qualifiers. Of course, even as a pro, you can choose not to enter the qualifiers.
Right.
Like, you can just not participate in the tournament at all.
Yeah.
But for someone of Lee Dong-hoon's ranking and ability, that doesn't really happen.
Right. Yeah.
So the first tournament that he skipped was the third Korea's Strongest tournament.
Yep.
And that was at the beginning of September. And I remember when the qualifying draw was released at the end of August, and I noticed that Lee Dong-hoon wasn't there. And he was top 10, definitely top 10. I think he was 6th at the time.
Yep. Might be 4th.
He may have been 5th. He was definitely around that at the time in the rankings.
Yep.
And he was by far the highest rated player not in the qualifying draw. And, that was pretty noticeable. And I remember mentioning that to you at the time. And I really had no idea why he wasn't there. But then every tournament after that, he wasn't in the qualifiers.
Yep.
And there's been a lot. There's been like at least 10, things like the LG Cup, the Chunlan Cup, the GS Caltex Cup, the Yongseong, the Myungin, the YK Construction Cup, the Kuksu Mountains Tournament.
Yep.
The recent Nongshim Cup qualifiers. He hasn't entered any of them.
None, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're thinking, what's going on?
Yeah.
Because that's a long period of inactivity. And the first thing that came to my mind was that maybe he was entering military service.
Exactly. Yep.
But the thing is, I talked to a professional, a Korean professional, who was recently in Korea, and he said it's definitely not military service.
Yes.
Also, Lee Dong-hoon he's only 24.
Right.
Most Korean professionals, I think they do their military service, when they're close to 30.
Yep.
Which I think is sort of like the latest age you can do it.
Yep.
So basically, they don't do military service until
28,
they
29
have to.
kind of thing. Yep.
Yeah. And yeah, so he's definitely not doing military service, and now it's turned out that the reason he didn't enter these tournaments is because he wants to leave the professional scene, I guess.
Yeah. And I mean it's kind of very strange because this is probably the first time I've heard of anyone trying to do this, apart from of course
Well,
Lee Sedol.
it's not completely unprecedented because Lee Sedol
Yeah.
in 2019 did in fact
Right.
retire.
Yeah.
And that's probably the closest parallel. But even Lee Sedol at the time wasn't in the top 10
Right. Yeah.
in Korea. He was a long time top 10. So I think it's a bit unfair to characterize him as not being a top 10 player.
Yeah.
But
Lee Sedol had the feeling that he wanted to give the middle finger to the KBA, whereas Lee Donghoon, it's just more like, I don't want to play anymore for some reason. Like hopefully it's not something to do with depression.
yeah, but yeah. Also one other thing, I think that we should to give full credit to Lee Donghoon. Like I said, in September he didn't enter any. Since September, he hasn't entered any qualifiers.
Yep.
But he has participated in 5 tournaments since September.
Right.
So as of September, there were 4 tournaments that he was still active in.
Yeah.
They were the Samsung Cup, the Hanguk Kiwon Championship, the Korean Baduk League, and the Chinese Jar League.
Right.
And to his credit, he fulfilled his obligations for all of those tournaments.
Yeah.
He didn't forfeit any games. He didn't skip any games. He played all of those games. And not only that, but he actually did quite well. In the Samsung Cup, he made the quarterfinals, losing to Zhao Chenyu.
Yep.
In the Hanguk Kiwon Championship, he actually beat Shin Jinseo to make the final.
Exactly. Yep.
Which is very impressive. He did lose the final to Park Junghwan.
Yeah.
But
3-0.
Making the final was still...
Yeah.
3-0. But making the final was still quite an accomplishment.
Yeah.
And also in the Chinese Jar League, he did quite well in the postseason. He was possibly, arguably one of the best players in the entire league.
Yeah.
And in the final... he beat Shirker twice, and probably would have led his team to the title if not for Shin Jinseo, and his magic.
Yeah,
but still he had a quite impressive performance in the Jar League.
Yeah.
And then that's 4 tournaments. The 5th tournament was the Nongshim Cup.
Right.
So that's a more of an interesting. It's a different style of tournament in Korea because there's no qualifiers.
Right.
You basically get entered in by the KBA.
Right.
So the KBA sort of just entered him into the tournament. Basically, it's a tournament for 9 dans. So all of the top 9 dans are going to be in it. So Lee Donghoon was entered into the tournament, and I guess given his personality, he wasn't going to sort of just flip them off and say I'm not going to play.
Yeah.
I guess he perhaps my theory is that he just felt obligated to play, so he played in that one.
Yeah.
But that's the only tournament that started after September that he's participated in.
Yeah.
And once again, he did extremely well in that as well. He made the final of that one too. Once again, falling to Park Chun-hwan.
Yeah. So a little bit of theme developing there.
But that final finished on the 18th of April, and he has not played that. And that was, of those 5 tournaments, that was the last one to finish. And so he hasn't played a professional game since then, nearly 3 months.
Yeah. So basically, even though he hasn't played, and we know that he submitted a resignation, which was denied, I believe, he just hasn't played. He basically, and there was some speculation online that the Jar League is going to return. So there was some speculation as to whether he will play in the Jar League maybe due to contractual reasons or whatever, but we shall see. But basically the situation.
That's a good point. If he has contractual obligations, that could be quite a tricky situation. It's interesting because despite him seeming to not have the motivation to play, the results are still
pretty good.
Pretty good, yeah. To give a bit more background on Lee Donghoon, he's been a long time top 10 player in Korea. He's won 2 titles.
Yeah.
I believe he won the 2014 KBS Cup. That was his first title, and he also won the 2016 GS Caltex Cup. That was at the age of 18, and at the time he was the youngest player to win that tournament.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit surprising that he hasn't won any titles in the last 6 years because he is an extremely strong player.
Right.
But it seems pretty clear that he doesn't want to play, and it's not unprecedented for players to still be associated with the KBA, like to still be a member of the KBA and just not playing any games.
Yeah.
But for someone of his, like for instance, Cho Hyun didn't play any games for about 5 years.
Yeah. But that's because he became a politician.
Yes. Obviously, while it's not unprecedented, it's more or less unprecedented for someone of his current ability.
Yes.
Lee Donghoon's ability.
Yes.
To not play games. I guess maybe wasn't there a time in the early 2010s where Lee Sedol took like a 6 month or
he took some time off. Basically, some kind of dispute with KBA. He's just like, no, F it. I'm not gonna play. But that's part of, the nature of that is very different to what Lee Donghoon. So,
yes, it's very different nature, and it sounds like, regardless of what the KBA wants, it doesn't seem like Lee Donghoon is going to be playing much Baduk. At least this year.
Yeah. There's
always the chance that he
come back.
That he could change his mind after a couple of years, and that passion or is rekindled. But it's very different. I think there is a significant difference from taking a break and outright leaving the KBA.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if there's ever been a case of someone leaving the KBA and then rejoining.
Well, I mean, they did say that for Lee Sedol to rejoin, he has to go through the pro qualification exam again. Pro qualify again. So
okay. So it sounds like if Lee Donghoon's resignation was accepted, then if he wanted to return, he would have to
re-qualify basically.
Re-qualify as a professional.
Yeah. So and basically, I think his resignation was denied, which is, I guess, the right move. And let's see. I mean, talking about rekindling their love for Go. Now, in the Chinese Yi League, someone a blast from the past did return. His name is Wang Shi. Do you know much about him?
No, I don't know much about Wang Shi. Please tell me.
Wang Shi. Okay, he's definitely one of the strongest player in China in the 2000s. So he's probably, you can consider him in the same generation as Guli, and he did win the Asian Cup, or what's called the Asian TV Cup over Lee Chang-ho, and basically Asian TV Cup was a fast competition, so it's made for TV. He also made a final of either the Samsung Cup or the LG Cup, losing to Lee Sedol. So, I mean, the fact that he kind of wins tournaments and makes a final of international tournament means he's a really strong player. He was definitely a JA League regular back then. Something I did remember him was that he did go on TV to commentate on one game. There's only one video that I saw of him commentating on a game, but which is a shame because what I found was that he's actually a really good presenter. He's a very eloquent, speaks really well, and he obviously a very strong player. So it's a shame that he only made one appearance ever doing commentaries on TV. And also, apparently he's been a very successful working in the investment industry after finishing his professional career. I guess his professional career playing Go isn't over yet, because he's come back to playing the Jar League. I believe he last played in the Jar League, in the Yi League, actually, sorry. In the Yi League like 4 years ago. And I believe he won 8 games out of 8. But in this...
Oh, wow.
And after he returned, I think the reason he returned was because his hometown decided to put up a team. So he's from Kaifeng in Henan province. So Kaifeng had a team in the Yi League this year. So he was persuaded to join the team. And apparently his parents got involved as well in trying to persuade him to return to play. And when his first game was had a live Kifu broadcast, and he joked that even though that he's been an inactive player, he still enjoys being having his Kifu live stream, because out of all the games being played in the Yi League, only a small selection actually have the Kifu live streamed. So that's a little bit about Wang Shi. So but of course we're here to talk about the bigger picture, which is the E League itself. Is there anything you want to talk about right now? And I can't remember if we did talk about this, the fact that Team Taiwan is there but Team Japan was not. I believe we did talk about it last time.
Yes, no, we did mention that.
Yeah.
There was one game. There's another sort of I guess maybe not a veteran, but another player who's in the Yi League. Have you heard of Gu Ling Yi?
Yes. Of course, he's a famous player from the past. He used to be a Jar League regular, and if you recall, the Southwest King we've covered before. Now, Kerje's won the Southwest King twice. I believe Gu Li has won the Southwest King twice, but Gu Ling Yi, being a Chengdu native or Sichuan native, he's won it 4 times. So definitely a very strong player. I believe
a very strong player, but he made. There was one game of his that I followed where he made some particularly not strong moves.
Yeah,
I wanted to.
Let me bring up the Kifu. Let me bring up the Kifu for that one. I might have to. Yep. Let me just. That was a very, very interesting game. His opponent was Zhang Ziliang, which I think is not really in many people's databases. So while the game's being loaded up, shall I jump straight to the part?
Yes. Can we jump straight to move 189?
Yeah, this is 189.
Yep.
So
okay, excellent.
Black made an Atari.
Now here, Black is winning.
Yeah, Black is winning.
Yeah, so Black is winning.
Yeah.
And Black was behind for most of the game according to AI, as if you can see there.
Yeah.
But it's sort of come down sort of to the end game, and Black is winning now. White makes a move here.
Yep.
Okay, so this move it doesn't really do, like, it threatens the group to the Black group to the right.
Yep.
Now that group doesn't yet have 2 eyes, right?
No, it's got 1 eye, and Black needs 1 move here to make 1 more eye.
Yes, but Black can just play something like T11, and they have an eye, or even I guess T8 would make an eye. I think T11 is better, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But what does Black do?
Black does this, takes the 2 stones.
Yes, this is the. Now, you may be wondering, why can't White play T11 here? And the answer is, I don't know. I'm pretty sure White can play T11 here, and that's a clean kill.
Yeah, so that would have killed this thing.
Black just simply cannot make 2 eyes anymore. This is...
Yeah.
this is probably like resignable.
Yeah.
But that Guling Yi, who is white, does not play this move, and I cannot understand why.
Yeah. No.
And
Yeah.
even that white has another chance to play because
Yeah.
black responds to this.
Yeah.
So white can play T11 again,
yeah, but
and doesn't.
he doesn't, and black decides to do this.
This move is fine. Like this
Yeah.
move is.
Well, it's threatened
That
to
move
capture
needs to
these
be
two.
yeah. That move needs to be responded to. White can't
Yeah.
play T11 here now because
Yeah.
black can connect then.
Yeah.
And now black plays T11.
Yeah.
And the game's over now.
Yeah. Well,
Like white lost. Guling Yi lost his chance.
yeah. So basically, the percentage went from 99%, 90 whatever percent to like nothing, basically, just after this a few exchanges.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was something with if it was really fast time controls or something like that, but
Yeah.
quite astonishing
To
for
see that.
both players to miss that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
It
quite.
make because I wonder why Guling Yi played N8 in the first place if it wasn't to threaten the group.
Yeah. I mean, it's just yeah. Sometimes you just start to lose your mind when you're playing so fast. You're out of breath,
Yeah.
out of air, whatever. But yeah, that is very interesting part of the game. So pros do make mistakes too. So this happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the Guling Yi part. Now, I think the other thing about the Yi League is that I'm a little bit surprised that Team Taiwan, after 3 rounds, have suffered 2 4-0 losses. So basically, the Yi League is a team competition. So each team puts out 4 players. I believe you're only allowed 4 players in this league. And Team Taiwan has already suffered 2 4-0 losses. And today is the 4th round. I don't know. I don't know the results yet, but hopefully they haven't done another 4-0. I can probably check that later. But yeah, it's a bit of a surprise for me. And
Yeah, because those are the Team Taiwan is quite strong. They're missing Zhu Hahong, Wang Wanjun, and
Lin Junyan.
Lin Junhyun.
Yeah.
Lin
Well,
Junyan. But the other 4 players,
Yeah.
like it's basically the next 4 in the rankings
Right.
in Taiwan.
So they have Chen Qirui and Chen Siyuan, Lin Sixuan and Lin Lixiang. So Lin Sixuan and Chen Qirui are playing in the Rookie King final in Taiwan, but they're just being basically dominated by teams in China. It just showcases the depth in China. There's just so many strong players.
Yeah.
Now
This really demonstrates the depth because also Korea are basically, the Korean players that are in the Yi League are basically players from ranks 11 to 25 on the
Right.
Korean rankings,
Yeah.
and the Chinese players they're probably outside the top 40 in China because everyone inside the top 40 is in the JAR League.
Yeah, most of them are anyway. Yeah. So
And so I was expecting that the Koreans would be stronger than
Right.
the Chinese Yi League players, but it's really not the case.
Yeah. I haven't done the calculations, but you did say that you think that Lee Chang-seok is the strongest player in the Yi League.
I considered of all the players in the Yi League that Lee Chang-seok was the Korean player
Yeah.
was the strongest.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And let me check. See if his round 3 results are out. Basically, in the first 3 rounds, Lee Chang-seok had only won twice. So he lost. Sorry. In the first 3 rounds, he's actually lost twice.
Yes.
And also in the 4th round, I just checked the results today. In the 4th round today, he also lost. So he's got, out of 4 games, he's got basically 3 losses.
Yes.
And in today's game, Sim Jae-ik beat the Taiwanese player Lin Lixiang. So that's a Korean win. Park Sang.
Sim Jae-ik was the player, is ranked 25 in Korea.
Right, so he's the lowest ranked of the Korean participants.
I believe he is the lowest ranked, yes.
And Park Sang-jin today beat Chai Jing. Sorry. Park Sang-jin lost to Chai Jing today. Yeah, he lost today. Seo Hyun-jun won against Hu Yaohua today. Kang Seung-min lost to Hu Zihao today. And yeah, that wraps up all the results that I know of. So yeah, in basically, it turns out that the Korean players had basically barely around 50.
I believe Gu Lingyi also lost today.
Yeah, right. I can't see that now.
Sorry. Chen Chirei actually. Sorry, no. I ignore that Gu Lingyi thing. Sun Teng Yu lost to Chen Chiri.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
So Taiwan actually got a win
today. But I don't know what happened to other Taiwanese players. I think
Chen Suyuan lost. Is Lin Shiksun a Taiwanese player?
Lin Shiksun. Yeah.
Yeah, he won.
He won. Oh, Chen Suyuan lost. So Taiwan's got 2 out of 2 today, which is not bad.
2 out of 4, you mean?
Yeah, 2 out of 4. Yeah, that's not bad. 2 out of 4. Which is not bad. So at least it's not another 4-0. So let's see. Basically, the other thing about the Yi League is that it's very compressed. It'll be, I believe, only 8 rounds, or however many rounds there are. After these 8 rounds, the top 2 teams get promoted to the JA League, which is supposedly, according to rumors, going to start in August. So we shall see.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, let's hope so. Fingers crossed. Now, I did want to talk about this. So in the E League, 2021 E League news conference. So 2021 E League happens in 2022. In the news conference, Hua Xueming, which was a very strong female player, she's now the vice president of the CWA, Chinese Weiqi Association. She said there's some good news coming. All right. She says the qualifier tournament for the Lanka Cup, the international version, will follow directly after the E League finishes, which is around the 20th of July. And those who exit basically got knocked out of the qualifying tournament in the first round can apply to play in the low dan training comp. So which is like I believe just like a training league or some form for low dan players, because in China for low dan players there's not much competition, unlike in Korea where there's lots of qualifiers. That. Yeah. Also, there will be a new international competition. She may be referring to Lanka Cup, or maybe even another one that's unannounced. I doubt it. And she said the M Lily Cup will be back for a 5th edition. So these are the good news coming out of the E League news conference. But otherwise, we shall see what happens in the E League, because it's basically majority of the players I haven't really heard of before, so makes it a bit more difficult to follow. But otherwise, I'll try to report on the Korean players' results and also Team Taiwan's results. So that's it about the E League. Let's move on to the Nongshim Cup qualifiers. A little bit of surprises there, isn't there?
Okay, so just a quick refresher. The Nongshim Cup is the international team tournament.
Yeah.
Teams of 5 players from Korea versus 5 players from China versus 5 players from Japan.
Yeah.
Win and continue. The first team to knock it out, both of the other 2 teams wins.
Yep.
Now in Korea, shall we do the Korean results first or the Chinese results?
Well, we can go through China's result because they're on screen, but these are some picks from the Korea. Even Lee Chang-ho has to qualify now. This is Lee Chang-ho, of course. And now we have to verbalize the Korean result because I honestly don't remember, and I haven't.
Well, I can just tell you the Korean results. So essentially, like I said, each team has 5 players.
Yeah. In
Korea, the number 1 ranked player is automatically selected. In this case, it's Shin Jinseo, and there's really no controversy regarding that. I think it would be sort of an outrage if he was asked to qualify.
Yeah.
Considering the heroics that he's performed for Korea in the last 2 Nongshim Cups.
Well, basically he won both the last 2 editions of Nongshim Cup single-handedly, basically.
Basically, yes.
Yes.
So he got an automatic spot. There were qualifiers to determine 3 other spots.
Yeah.
And it was sort of a 3-tiered qualifying system. Essentially, players outside the top 30 qualified in single elimination to get down to 24 players.
Yep.
They were joined by players ranked between, I think, 6 to 29, 6 to 30 or something like that.
Yep.
And that was to get it down. That was the second round of qualifiers to get it down to 6 players.
Yep.
And they were joined by players in the top 6, or the top 7 or something like that. In a 12 players in the final round.
Yep.
And single elimination knockout to get it down to 3.
Yep.
So essentially, the qualifiers were to determine 3 spots on the team, and those 3 spots were won by Kang Dongyun, Byun Sang-il, and Park Junghwan.
Yep. As pictured over here.
So those 3 are all in the team. Kang Dongyun beat Shin Min-jun.
Mm-hmm.
Byun Sang-il beat Park Jinseo, and Park Junghwan beat Ryu Min-hyung.
Yep.
So that gives 4 players.
Yep.
The fifth member of the team is determined by a wild card. So essentially, the KBA will select a player not yet in the team.
I know. They'll select Lee Donghoon.
It would be quite something if they selected Lee Donghoon.
Yeah.
I think my tip for who they will select is Shin Min-jun.
Yeah. That's the obvious choice, isn't it?
It's the obvious choice. I mean, he was 1 game away.
Yeah.
From qualifying. He's in good form. I believe he is the highest ranked player that didn't qualify. He's ranked number 4 in Korea at the moment.
Right. Yes. Okay.
So it makes sense. But we'll see that it hasn't been announced yet. It may be a week or 2. But yeah, we'll let you know once they announce it.
Yeah.
But that's the Korean results.
Yeah. So, and basically now to the Chinese result. Now maybe I do want to mention this. So Moon Min-jun again, a little bit of a disappointment. He didn't qualify, obviously.
Obviously a disappointment, but he had to participate in the qualifiers from the very beginning, from round 1.
Yeah.
And he did make it through to round 2.
Right.
So I believe he beat Lee Chang-ho.
Yep.
In the last game of round 1. So he, at the very least, he made it to round 2.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And one other one that was disappointing was Choi Jeong. She was seeded directly into round 2, but she lost her first game.
Yeah. Yeah. So now I did just check the Korean rankings. It is true that Shin Min-jun is currently number 5. So if they do select Shin Min-jun, that would make it the Korea top 5 players are all going to the Nongshim Cup again, just like last year.
Yes, but we did see what happened last year.
Yeah. It wasn't
the 4 of the 5 players you would say underperformed.
Yeah, didn't contribute very much.
Oh, I just realized. Sorry, I just checked the rankings now, and you're right. Kang Dongyun is 4th, so the top 4 are all in the team at the moment.
Yeah, so it makes sense to select Shin Min-jun next, which is probably likely going to happen.
Yes, the next ranked player is Kim Ji-sok.
Yeah.
He lost to Byun Sang-il in the qualifiers. So
yeah. And
then below that is Kim Young-hoon. I would say that it would have to be one of those 3: Shin Min-jun, Kim Ji-sok, and Kim Young-hoon.
Yep.
It's definitely going to be one of those 3, and it's probably going to be Shin Min-jun.
Yep, likely. Now, in China, it's a different story. The number one in China, Ke has to go through the qualifiers, which admittedly is a very abridged version of the qualifiers.
And how does the qualifiers work in China?
Right, okay, so because the supposedly the COVID situation is still raging, probably not, but there are just a lot of restrictions there, so they can't really hold big competitions and big qualifiers. So what they did was they selected the top 15 players by the Chinese latest ranking, and one player who made the international final, the final of an international competition, which happens to be Tang Wei-shin of the Transatlantic Cup. So these 16 players got drawn into 4 groups, and basically they play single elimination within each of these 4 groups to determine the winner. The winner, of course, gets selected, and there's one wild card. Basically,
Wait, how many get selected though?
4, because there's 4 groups. The winner of each group gets selected.
4 groups. So you have to. So if you win 2 games, you make the team.
Correct. And basically, there's also a wild card, so to basically the fail save to select the 5th player. I guess kind of this is where in case Ke loses, kind of thing. But anyway, there's always a wild card. So the 16 players are Ke versus Ding Hao first. That's a big one. Zhao Chenyu versus Li Weiqi. So these are the 4 players in the first group. You got Len Xiao, Xie Ke, Jiang Weijie, Fan Tingyu in the second group. Of course, Fan Tingyu was in hot form recently, so looking forward to what happens. And then Yang Dingxin, Peng Li Yao, Li Xuanhao, Tuo Jiaxi in the third group. So
that one's probably going to be Yang Dingxin or Li Xuanhao, right?
Yes.
We shall see.
We shall see. And we got Mi Yuting, Gu Zihao. That's another crazy matchup. And then Xie Hao versus Tang Wei-shin. So Xie Hao and Tang Wei-shin are probably the weaker half of the group.
But like you've just listed 16 Chinese players, and anyone who's familiar with the pro scene would probably like at least 13 of those names would sound familiar.
Yeah. Many of them have made a final of an international or have won it outright.
Yeah, like that's incredibly strong, and you're missing like that doesn't even have players like Chen Yao Ye.
Yeah.
Like they're not even highly ranked enough.
Yeah.
To be in there.
Yeah, no,
and
just of course,
crazy.
Like, rising stars like Wang Xinghao doesn't even get a chance. So it's still pretty much the old guards. The last generation, they're still fighting it out.
I have to admit here, I'm not a fan of this format,
right.
Because it seems like a little bit closed off. It's like, the top 15 are playing amongst each other. It's like for Wang Xinghao to make a major or a Nongshim Cup or something, he has to compete in the qualifiers.
Yeah.
But he can't compete in the qualifiers because he's not ranked high enough. He's not ranked high enough because he hasn't won a title, and he hasn't won a title because he hasn't been able to compete in the qualifiers. It's like, what can he do? But I understand that this is probably a lot to do with the COVID situation. So hopefully when that gets sorted out, Wang Xinghao will get more opportunity. Like players like Wang Xinghao will get more opportunities to play in international events.
Yeah, and there's probably players we haven't even heard much about, and they're really strong. Like Jin Chengyu, who plays in the Jia League, he said in an interview that the 2 of the players in the Yi League basically are as strong as him, and Jin Yucheng actually had a 50% record, more greater than 50% record in Jia League. So there's some really strong.
I mean like Yang Kai Wen as well. Like he would have just missed out.
Yeah, like really strong player that just didn't even get a chance. But anyway, it makes sense that China wants to select the best players. But let's see what actually happens. Let's go through the results in the first round. A little bit of a surprise. Maybe not that much of a surprise. Ke beat Ding Hao. Even though Ding Hao is known as a little bit of a Ke killer, but it didn't kill Ke this time, I guess. And then Li Weiqi beat Zhao Chenyu.
That could have gone either way.
Either way. Len Xiao beat Xie Ke again. When I say again, I don't remember the last time they played, but yeah, it feels like Shaker just isn't realizing the potential that made him go into the finals of the In Cup and the Emily League Cup. So again, knocked out in the first round, and an oldie but a goodie, Jiang Weijie beating Fan Tingyu, one of the
Now
hottest
that's a
form.
surprise.
A little bit of a surprise, but Jiang Weijie on his day could beat anyone. I mean, I still
By the way,
remember,
not only is Fan Tingyu, in hot form at the moment, but
Yeah.
he's got a legendary record in the Nongshim Cup.
yes,
And
absolute legend.
you'd have to, I have to say that Team China, without Fan Tingyu seems a bit strange.
Yeah. Well, so do you want to tell us a little bit about Fan Tingyu's legend? What's so legendary about his record?
Well, he hasn't. There have been times when he loses his first game, but on 2 occasions he's won 7 games in a single Nongshim Cup.
Yeah.
And that's 7 is the record. It's also been done by, I think, Yang Dingjin.
Yeah.
But Fan Tingyu has done it twice, and that's
Nuts.
quite remarkable. That it's something that Lee Chang-ho hasn't done, Shin Jinseo hasn't done.
Yeah.
I mean, they have won more consecutive. Both of those players have won more consecutive games, but not in a single Nongshim Cup.
No.
And to do it twice is, the stuff of legend. I mean, there are hardly any players. That's 14 wins already.
Yeah.
In his career. I think how many wins does he have? I think he has, let me quickly check. He has 18 wins.
Yep.
Which is one below the record held by Lee Chang-ho.
Yeah.
So he will quite possibly,
break the record.
Be the first player to win 20 Nongshim Cup games.
Yeah. Well,
but
it's assuming he still gets selected. But and
I mean, yeah, it obviously. I mean, to be like, it's even more impressive that he's a Chinese player, because China, like, apart from Ko Jae,
yeah,
there's no guarantee that you'll make Team China.
Yeah.
Because they're so stacked. They're so deep. So for him to have 18 players in this generation of Chinese Weiqi, it makes it even more impressive, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a bit about Fan Tingyu. Number 2 in terms of number of wins in Nongshim Cup, so legend. And then the next group is Yang Dingxin versus Peng Liyao. Yang Dingxin won. Li Xuanhao versus To Jiaxi. Li Xuanhao got knocked out first round. Same fate as Fan Tingyu. So maybe their hot form is coming to an end. Maybe that's what's happening. I'm not sure.
And not only that, but that means that since there's only one wild card,
yeah,
one of them's going to miss out on the Nongshim Cup for sure.
Or both.
Possibly both.
Yeah, possibly. So basically, social media is basically debating. Should it be Fan or Yang or whatever it may be? We don't know what happened to Yang yet, but let's see what happens.
And there's always the possibility that Ko Jae could lose the next round.
Yeah, we have no idea. So Mi Yuting lost to Gu Zihao. I mean, could have gone either way, but Gu got the upper hand this time. Xie Hao beat Tang Weixin. So that's the result of the first round. And basically, 2 days later, they played the second round. So there's some picks over here. Again, it's not played in a commercial kind of environment. It's probably played in a library or a classroom somewhere. It's like stacks of books around there. They did bother to print their names though. Oh, I forgot to mention one thing about Yi League. Apparently in this year's Yi League, there's 2 Chinese players with exactly the same name, Wang Shuo. So what's happened was that and these 2 players ended up playing each other. So
really?
Yeah, and they took a picture of the name tag. So I'll see if we can dig it up and post it on Pro Weiqi. Yeah, that was quite funny. And apparently the reporter, when they saw them, asked one of the Wang Shuo how old he is. He said 19, and then he turned to the other Wang Shuo and asked him, "So how old are you?" And the other Wang Shuo has got like full beard, everything. That nah, I refuse the answer. So that's what happened. But anyway, second round results. Let's go through them. So we got Kerje versus Li Weiqing. So Kerje won that one.
So Kerje is in the
Kerje
team.
made it onto the team, despite having the qualifier. So good on him. So Kerje made it. And I believe neither of Kerje's Kifus were available. Oh no, like the first one was
No.
available.
The Dinghao one's definitely available.
The Dinghao one is available, but the Li Weiqing one is not. So no idea what happened there. And then we have Len Xiao and Zhang Weijie. So Zhang Weijie, after knocking out Fan Tingyu, loses to Len Xiao. So Len Xiao made it in the team. Mm-hmm. And this is another big one. Yang Dingxin lost to To Jiaxi. So
wait. So neither Yang Dingjing nor Li Junhao won in that group. To Jiaxi.
Yeah, To Jiaxi.
Wow, that's a bit of a shocker.
Yeah, an oldie from the past, but still a goodie. Still a goodie. Still very good. You may remember that To Jiaxi also made the Asian Games squad. So
that's right, he did.
Yeah, he's not lost it yet. He's definitely got it. So good on him. And then we have Gu Zihao and Xie Hao, and Gu Zihao won out, but not unexpectedly. But so the team so far is Kerje, Len Xiao, To Jiaxi, and Gu Zihao. One wild card.
I have to say, I don't think that's the strongest team they could have picked.
No, not by ranking.
Has To Jiaxi ever played the Nongshim Cup before?
Who?
To Jiaxi.
Probably, I would say probably, but I don't remember how well he did. He might have lost to Ichiriki or something.
I can't see.
Right.
I'll try and look it up.
Yeah, I'll be more surprised if he hadn't, because he's such a strong player. No, I think he must have, because I think Nongshim Cup might have a selection rule where if you win an international title, you get automatically selected. And in the year that To Jiaxi won the international title, he might just get automatically selected for the team. That's what I think.
Oh no, my mistake. He has. He won his first 4 games.
Yeah.
In 2008.
Right. Yeah, he's around 30 something.
Yeah, he first played Nongshim Cup as a 3-dan.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And he won his first 4 games. Yeah, he's played in 4 Nongshim Cups.
Very nice. So I guess there's a lot of players to choose from in the wildcard. So on social media they joke that there's the competition for the wildcard is more intense than the qualifiers.
Yeah.
Let's go through who could possibly get the wildcard. We have Ding Hao. All right.
Yeah.
All right. We've got, of course, Zhao Chenyu, Li Weiqing, but
that neither of them will get it.
Yeah, and then you have Xie Ke.
He won't get it.
He won't get it. And we've got Fan Tingyu.
Yeah, he's a shout.
Yeah, you got Yang Dingxin.
Absolutely. He's a strong one.
You got Li Shunhao.
Yeah, he would be my pick, to be honest.
All right, and you got Mi Yuting.
Yeah, he probably won't get it.
Right. I mean, he almost
despite beating Iyama and almost beating Shin Jinseo.
Yeah.
This year.
Yeah.
I don't think he's been in pretty poor form internationally since then.
Yeah.
And I think that, like you said, the competition is just too strong.
Yeah, it's just too strong. So my pick would be
and then you've also got Jihyun, Tang Weiqing. I don't think either of them will get it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, my pick will be Fan Tingyu. I believe he is ranked number 2 in China right now, and of course he's got a great Nongshim Cup record. No reason not to pick him. And
the crazy thing is, I'm pretty sure almost all of his Nongshim Cups he's qualified.
Right.
Of course, there was the time when he won the In Cup.
Yeah.
So he would have automatically gotten selected, but he's never really been top ranked in China, right?
I mean, I don't think he's ever ranked number 1, but he's always top 10 or thereabouts at least.
Yeah,
he's strong.
Yeah, for someone of his results level, it's like it always seems like he's underrated.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, he's no one. Yeah, everyone takes him seriously. Everyone knows how dangerous he is. I I would pick Li Jianhao, but I do think it will be either Fan Tingyu or Ding Hao.
Yeah. Oh, so
Probably Fan Tingyu.
yeah, and you're discounting Yang Dingshin basically.
Oh no, sorry, no.
Yeah.
No, I can't discount Yang Dingjing.
Yeah.
Either Fan Tingyu, Yang Dingjing, or Ding Hao.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's really hard to pick. The wild card's not going to be the weakest player on the team.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Well, it's tough competition. So
This is still going to be a strong team. This
Yeah.
will still be a strong team, but
yeah.
I just don't think this was the best way of picking
Yeah.
the team. But given the situation,
Yeah. Well,
at the very least, they have Koje, so they'll definitely have a chance.
yeah. Although Coach didn't quite stand up to Jinseo last 2 editions, but
I will say that in this year when they played in the Nongshim Cup, Shin
Yeah.
Jinseo had one of the even for Shin Jinseo, it was one of the best games he's ever played.
yeah, I see. Yeah.
Absolutely, like he beat Koje so convincingly. Koje started wondering if he should retire, I think.
Yeah.
Or if he was playing AI.
Yeah. So and also no news about the Japanese team. Hopefully Yuta will return.
Iyama will absolutely return. I'm convinced of that because Iyama never misses the Nongshim Cup.
Right. Yeah.
I think that I certainly hope that Iyama, Ichiriki, and Su Shawan are all on the team.
Yeah. Right.
I think those three should be selected automatically, and then the next two they can have qualifiers for. But
right.
I don't really care who the other two are. But I think if Japan want to have any chance, they need to put those three players in there.
Yeah. Now, if I'm not wrong, they don't in Japan. They don't do qualifiers. They just what they do is they just look at the prize money ranking, and the higher up you are, the more likely you then you take what's the word precedence or
Precedence.
Yeah, precedence or what then basically you get picked first if your schedule allows basically. So I think it's by a prize money ranking. Anyway, that's what I remember anyway. So let's see.
Well, in that case, Seki Kataro, sorry, he might make the team because he's the Tengen.
Yeah, he's a Tengen
title holder.
Yeah, so let's see what happens. So finally we get to Korea, which we'll talk about the Weiqi Construction Cup, which had a massive result this week, didn't it?
So a bit of a recap. The Weiqi Construction Cup.
Yeah.
It's a 10-person player league.
Yep.
Single round robin, so everyone plays 9 games.
Yep.
And you have to. The top 2 will play. I believe it's a best of 3 final.
Yes.
I think it may have. We may have said a best of 5 before,
right.
But I've checked the calendar and I can only see 3 dates scheduled for the final. So it may just be a best of 3.
Yeah.
But anyway, there were 2 games left to play. There were 2 games played this week. There were only 2 games left in the league.
Yeah.
Now, at the end of last week, Kang Dongyun had already qualified for the final. He was already guaranteed to finish top 2.
Yeah. Well, in fact, he was guaranteed to finish second.
No, he wasn't. He was guaranteed to finish top 2 because he had 1 game left.
Yeah, but he lost that game.
Yes, but that was this week.
Yeah.
So, since he lost his last game.
Yeah.
It didn't. I think it was against Lee Jihyun.
Yep. Lee Jihyun. Yep.
It didn't matter to him, but it does matter to some fans of this tournament, and I'll get to that. I'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Because even you don't know what I'm talking about here.
No.
But the fact that he lost, that meant that he was definitely going to come second because the final game was between Park Junghwan and Shin Jinseo, and whoever won that would finish ahead of Kang Dongyun. They would finish first. But it doesn't matter for Kang Dongyun because the top two play a best of three final.
Yeah. And they've scheduled the league in such a way that the very last game, you see here on this table, every player has played 9 games except Park Junghwan and Shin Jinseo. They basically make the top 2 in Korea play the very last game in the league, which is great.
Yeah, and not only that, but not even they could have predicted that this last game would determine
who goes to the final.
Yes.
So this is crazy. Basically, it's a must-win for Shin Jinseo and Park Junghwan. Let's look at some picks. So hopefully I got some good picks. So this is them.
Should we say who won the game?
Well, you tell the audience.
Well, Park Junghwan beat Shin Jinseo.
Yeah.
So that means that Park Junghwan and Kang Dongyun will be playing the final.
Yes. So in fact, Park Junghwan won the league. He's only got 1 loss.
Yes, and that was to Kang Dongyun.
Yes. So this is the second time Shin Jinseo has missed out on a final in recent memory. The other one.
Well, he's missed out on 3 tournaments this year: the Hanguk K1 Championship, the Nongshim Cup, and now this one. But in this one, I mean, he did lose 3 games.
Yeah.
So it clearly, I think, from watching his games, it did seem like he wasn't as comfortable with the time control as other players.
Right.
It seemed like he didn't seem to have enough time to come up to to devise his tricks.
Yeah,
I guess
tricks.
In both his first game, which was the first game of the tournament, and the last game of the league against Lee Jihyun and Park Junghwan respectively, he did get outread, or he made a misplay that was refuted by his opponent.
Yeah.
It's another thing that I did notice in the very last game, Shin Jinseo and Park Junghwan. So the time controls, we've mentioned this before, but the time controls are rather unusual in that it's no main time and 10 1-minute byoyomis.
Yeah.
So if you spend 55 seconds on a move, you don't lose a byoyomi.
Yeah.
And Park Junghwan was doing that from the very first move of the game.
Right, yeah.
Even like the very first move, he was spending his full minute. Even see, can you go back? Can you go back? So Park Junghwan was black here.
Yeah.
No. Now go forward one. One more. Okay, and now Shin Jinseo, he responded D3 almost immediately. So you always play C4 next, right?
Yeah.
Park Junghwan spent a whole minute before playing C4.
Right.
He didn't do it immediately, and I'm not sure if that was just so he could use all of the time that he had available, or if it was some sort of to put Shin Jinseo off his rhythm.
Right.
Because Shin Jinseo, he tends to have some sort of fluidity.
Right.
In his in his play.
Yeah.
He's extremely good at time management, Shin Jinseo.
Yeah.
But he was spending the whole minute every single time.
Right.
He definitely wasn't unique. There were definitely some other cases of players spending a minute from the very beginning of the game per move. But it was interesting, and I mean, to lose 3 games, Shin Jinseo, he won 6, lost 3. That's still a pretty good record, but it's for Shin Jinseo, it's a bit of an underachievement.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that the Park Junghwan and Kang Dongyun were the 2 form players in this tournament, and they're deserved finalists.
Yeah. So Unfortunately, it didn't happen.
Because Shin Jinseo he lost the very first game to Lee Jihyun, and then he lost later on to Kim Myung-hun.
Yep.
And like it would have felt like if he won this game, it would have felt like it was he sort of snatched, got lucky to snatch a final spot.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the end, that isn't what happened. Park Junghwan had a very, good win.
Yeah.
And Shin Jinseo actually finished fourth.
Yeah.
Because he had the same number of wins as Kim Young-hun, but he lost their head-to-head game.
Right. Yeah.
But I want to tell you why the Kang Dongyun game was important, and I'll just quickly share a link with you.
Yeah.
Okay. So there was actually a competition run by, I think, both the KBA and YK Construction Company.
Right.
And it was basically pick the ladder, to predict the finishing position.
Right.
Now, you didn't have to pick every single position, like who would finish first, who would finish second, who would finish third.
Yeah.
But you had to pick who would finish. You had to pick who would finish last.
Yeah.
Who would finish seventh.
Yeah.
Who would finish fifth.
Right.
And who would win. So
Right.
by win, that means win the final.
Yeah.
Not win the league.
Right. Yeah.
Now, so if you click that big button below the pictures, that will show you how many the percentages
Right.
of who predicted who.
Right. Yeah.
So, for instance, if you see last place, you'll see that about 2/3 of the participants picked Kim Eunji to finish last.
Yeah.
And to be fair, she did lose.
They also pick Korean beef.
Wait, who's Korean beef? That's Han Woo-jin.
Yes, probably.
Yeah, that's Han Woo-jin. But Kim Eunji lost every single game up until the last game, which she won, and that was enough to move her ahead of last. It was Wonsong Jin.
Yeah, so
who came last, and only 2.3%
picked Wonsong Jin.
Picked him.
Yeah.
For seventh place, most people picked Ryu Min Hyung.
Yeah.
Well, not most people, but that was the biggest, most popular choice. Lee Ji-hyun, who actually finished seventh, he got 9%.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And it was actually Ryu Min Hyung who finished fifth.
Ryu Min Hyun. Yep. Okay.
But only 5% voted for him to finish fifth. The biggest vote getter was Kang Dongyun to get 25%.
Right.
To get fifth with 25%.
Huh. Yeah, I wonder why. Okay.
And finally, the winner, 70% tipped Shin Jinseo to win the tournament.
Yeah.
So, that's not going to happen.
No.
But the next two, Park Junghwan with 15% and Kang Dongyun with 7.9%, one of them will win it.
Yep.
So not too bad.
Yep, not too bad.
But it turned out so Kang Dongyun's last game, if he won that, seventh place would have been, I believe, Kim Si-dong.
Yeah.
But because he lost, Lee Ji-hyun moved into seventh place.
Yeah.
So that's why Kang Dongyun's last game affected these results.
Right.
Do you think that anyone would have is going to pick all four?
I mean, tough to say. Probably no.
I don't think so. I think there were only about 3,000 participants.
Like, even if you assume the votes are like completely independent, you multiply by the percentages, multiply by 3,000, you're probably looking at like one. If that.
Yeah, and I don't think it happened. I just don't think it happened.
Yeah.
If you've ever tried to pick the ladder, if I used to work for a gambling company, and before I joined, they had to pick the ladder for an 18-team competition.
Yeah.
And I think the prize was $100 million.
Right.
if you picked all, and you had to pick the entire ladder, like
Right.
first, second, third, all the way down to 18th. And if you got every single one right at the end of the season,
Yeah.
you got $100 million.
Right.
And my company was extremely confident that no one would get it, and no one did.
Yeah. No. So.
So even this one's obviously a lot, not 18. It's only 10, and you only had to get 4 positions. But even then, I think it's very, very unlikely. So I don't know how they're going to pick a winner.
Yeah.
If it's just whoever's closest, or if nobody wins.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still an interesting comp,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's very deceptive in how difficult it is.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if, I mean, like, yeah, it's difficult. It's not going to happen.
Yeah,
So,
but it's always good to have fan interaction in some way, I think.
yeah, maybe we should run a competition on a pro Weiqi just for the fun of it.
Finish pick. We could do one for maybe the Kisei leagues. I mean, they've only got 6 players.
Yeah.
That one's a bit different.
The prize money, the prize is get a mention on the podcast.
What a prize!
Yeah,
what an incentive!
I know. Talking about incentives, the Korean players have a lot of incentives to win this tournament, don't they? The Myungin.
Which tournament is this?
This is the Myungin.
Oh yes.
Yeah. I don't know if there's too much to talk about here, except that.
Well, actually,
yeah.
The first round has finished now.
Yes, the first round
round finished this week, so
yeah,
we should get all of those results out of the way.
Yeah. So let's just go through the results. So the first round, if you get knocked out of here, it doesn't mean that you're out of the competition. Basically, because it's double elimination. You just go to the losers bracket. But
that's correct.
Let's go through the results. So Seo Hyun-jun lost to Kang Seung-min. So Kang Seung-min's still in the winners bracket.
Yes, I believe that one happened last week.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we have Park Junghwan beating Cho Wang-kyu. So Park Junghwan expectedly moved on here. Now, I believe An Choi-young beat Hong Mu-jin, and An is the second oldest player in the field. He's 43. So well done.
Yes. And he has over 1,000 professional wins.
Yes, very nice. And then we got this one was really hard to pick, but Myung Seung-il and Won Song-jin. Won Song-jin won out on that one, despite Ueno.
Yeah, that one was a bit of an upset. That was actually the first game of the Myunjin. That happened last week.
Right. And
it was half-point win.
It was only a half-point win. And Won is probably, you can see that he's in bad form and he's not doing so well in the YK Construction League. But he beat Myung Seung-il, so there you go.
And even more rare, Byun Sang-il had a game that went to the count.
Oh well, yeah. Well, he's a bit of erratic. He either kills you or gets killed somehow.
Yeah, but not in this case.
Yeah, not in this case. 0.5.
Yeah.
And then you got Shin Min-jun beating up Lee Jihyun. So
that happened last week as well.
And then we got Kim Ji-sok beating the oldest player in the field, Kim Seong-jun, Blackie, at 48 years old.
Blackie, what a legend.
Legend.
Absolute legend.
Legend. So Kim Ji-sok beat him.
Check out his Twitch.
Yeah, check out. I wonder if he still does it. I mean, he used to do live streams of pro games like Samsung Cup and all that.
Oh, well, obviously he can't be doing it now because he's competing in the Myunjin.
Yeah, well, I mean, breaking news: Myunjin and Samsung Cup doesn't happen at exactly the same time. Right. Okay. So and then you got Jinseo beating Kim Se-dong again.
Yeah. So this was a
bit of a.
There was nothing. I watched the game. There was nothing. It was a typical Shin Jinseo
showing.
Played and won.
Yeah. It's just and Sim Jaik, his name popping up again. Of course, appeared in the Year League, beating Choi Jeong.
Yeah, that game happened last week as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So
he's in that. You're right. He is in the Yi League, and he beat Choi Jeong.
Yeah.
Now, so that is all of the first round. Now the second round.
Yeah.
there are 8 players in the second round, but the second round will probably be delayed for a little bit because they need to play the losers bracket.
Right.
As you said, there's a second bite of the cherry, and when you're in the losers bracket, you have to play more games.
Yeah.
Because people keep joining the losers bracket when they fall out of the winners bracket.
Yeah.
So I just gave you a link here in the chat. If you could just click on that, we'll be able to see the losers bracket.
Right.
Just scroll down. Now on the right there is the losers bracket.
Right.
So the matchups are. Are you able to expand that a little bit?
You mean like this?
Okay, so the matchups are now these dates aren't. I don't think these dates are perfectly correct.
Right.
They may change, but the first one that we've got there is Seol Hyun-jun versus Lee Jihyun.
Yep.
Okay. Cho Wang-kyu versus Blackie.
Yep.
Kim Seung-jun.
Yep.
That one's going to be one worth watching. Okay, so this one here, Hong Moo-jin was the last player to lose, so it just hasn't been updated. But it's Hong Moo-jin versus Kim Si-dong.
Yep.
And then this one here, I think this one might actually be the first one that's going to be played.
Right.
Byun Sang-il versus Choi Jeong. You have to say it's a bit hard luck for either player here either player that loses. Most likely it's going to be Choi Jeong that loses because Byun Sang-il is number 3 in Korea.
Yeah.
But one of those players is going to be eliminated from the Myungin without a win.
Yeah. Oh well.
And you will see that the next round, the winners of those games will play one of the 8 players that's still in the winners bracket.
Yes. Right.
Because they'll play whoever loses in the next round of the winners tournament. So for instance, just as an example, Seol Hyun-jun and Lee Jihyun, whoever wins that will play the loser between Shin Jinseo and Sim Jae-ik.
Yeah.
That's just an example, but you can see the structure. You can see the structure there. So
L goes here. So the winner. Okay, goes there. Okay. Yep. The loser goes
the
there.
most important thing is if you win your first 4 games, you're in the final.
Yeah.
But if you lose your first game, you have to win 6 games to make the final.
Right.
So bit of an there's definite advantages to just winning games and not losing.
Yeah. 100%.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. So that's your Myunjin for you this week. Yes. So I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover this week. Gaza, do you have anything else you want to talk about before we go to the calendar?
Well. Okay, just a quick one, a very, very quick one.
Yeah.
Well, there's one Korean game that I still want to cover, but I just want to take a bit of a detour to the Transatlantic Cup.
Yeah.
Just a very, very quick detour.
Yeah.
The I believe the third place playoff has happened.
Oh, happened.
Between Artem Kachanovskyi and Ilya Shikshin.
Yep.
The results aren't on the website, but I do believe that Ilya Shikshin won 2-0.
Right. Okay.
I believe the videos are on the Twitch channel.
Right.
The European Go Federation Twitch channel.
Yeah.
So I do believe that Ilya Shikshin finished 3rd.
Well done. Awesome.
Something that I also wanted to point out is that Andrei Kravats was one of the commentators.
Yep.
And you may notice he's Ukrainian.
Right.
And he interviewed Ilya Shikshin at the end, and there didn't seem to be any sort of animosity or tension or anything like that. So I just wanted to point that out. Obviously, there's some very nasty stuff going on.
Yeah.
In Ukraine at the moment involving Russia, but it doesn't seem like that has affected the relationships between the players in Europe.
Yeah.
That's just from my observation. But congratulations to Ilya Shikshin for winning
third place.
For winning 3rd place. I do believe this weekend will be the final. Yep. Ryan Lee versus Kevin Yang. If you are in the European or American time zone, and you do have that time free, I'm not exactly sure when it is. I apologize. I do think that it's worth your time to look it up when the time is, and if you do have that time available to watch the games, I think you could be seeing something special.
Yes. I'm also looking forward to that. It's the time is here. This should be correct. It's going to be, of course, it's on Twitch.
Yes, but I don't know if it's on Saturday or Sunday. I believe it's only on one day.
Right. Okay, yeah.
Our viewers may know. Our viewers may know more than us in this case. I apologize for not knowing when exactly it's going to be on. But if you are interested in the American professional scene, it's definitely worth your time to make the effort to try and find out when that is. Unfortunately for me, I'm not in the right time zone to watch the games.
Yeah, they do happen on ungodly hours for us.
For us in Australia,
that
is.
So I would watch it if I have time, but let's see what happens. I mean, there's a couple of interesting things that's happened. You may know that there was a Chinese pro qualification tournament happened in China. And I think they have removed the age restriction for the pro qualification. So this.
Oh, that's great. That's great to hear.
Yeah. So this and I think they've done it in a strange way because so this is the first pro to come out of the pro qualification. Her name is Yi Senko. So she's in the adult females group, and she becomes the first pro because there was only 5 players in the adult females group, and they're gonna crown 1 pro out of that. And she came second in the group, so she played the top finisher, and she actually won that game. So she's now a pro, and of course on social media, there was a lot of comments about is this actually a good system? Should we? Is it right to put the adults into one group and then qualify up to 10% of it, or should you have adults and younger player play in the same group, and adults really literally have to finish top to qualify, and the younger players just get selected based on their placing? So that's a little bit of a controversy, but it does.
That's an interesting suggestion.
Right. And I'm not really sure what is the right thing to do, but it does feel like to me that if you only have 5 players and you must make one of them pro, then you are not able to guarantee the strength of the winner. That's what I would say, but I don't really know. But that's the system. It's a little bit created a little bit discussion on social media, but not too bad. And of course, the other thing I want to mention is that Sumire, the youngest ever player to achieve 1,000 wins in Japan, 100 wins, and she's on the cover of the monthly Go magazine. So that's pretty cool. And of course, Kerje back to his usual self, giving out advice to beginners. Basically, he said, I'm just too good. If you're a beginner, following me is useless if you're trying to improve, because I'm on another level. I'm just so good. So basically he said if you find a teacher with patience, because I have no patience. If you come to me, and my attitude would be like, you don't even know this. Why even come to me? Which is a bit ironic because Kerja did just sign a contract. I believe one of the biggest Weiqi training platforms for children, and as part of the promotion, he said that he'll take on disciples. So,
I do think, given Kerja's personality, I did find the claim that he would take on disciples to be rather strange. I'm not at all surprised. At him saying he has no patience. Which I think is, that's fine for him. He's a player, not a teacher. Not everyone is both. There are definitely some amazing players who became amazing teachers, like Minoru Katani. Cho Hyun Hyun had one student, but
Yeah. Wow, amazing.
he was one of he was Lee Chang Ho.
Yeah.
But then you have players who can't be teachers, and it's not just in Baduk, it's in any sport. There are some
Yeah.
players who are just so good because just their natural talent,
Yeah.
and it's genuinely something that you can't teach,
Yeah.
or at the very least they can't teach.
Right. And
Yeah.
and by the way, this is the platform in question that Kerje has signed a deal with. So it literally the title of the competition, which is I believe it's a youth children's Chiwang competition. It literally says Kerje's disciple competition. So basically, the implication is that if you win this, maybe or whatever, you can become a disciple of Kerje. So, and I did try to use this platform just to check out what it's like, and it's the beginning. The start of the platform is extremely basic. Like they literally put stones on the board and they tell you to count how many liberties there are. It's like clearly designed for very young children. But of course, it's a fairly big platform in China, I do believe, for kids learning Weiqi. So yeah, let's see. But it's quite interesting that Kerje, made those comments on live stream after he signed that deal. So God knows what happens. And okay, maybe another news to close out the week. Shiho, Hoshiai, and Sunja got married on the 7th of July. Of course, both of these were professional players. So
Yeah, Shunji actually, I know of him because he won the Kisei C League last year.
Right. Yeah.
So he was in the stepladder finals.
Yeah.
I don't remember I think he lost the first game.
Yeah.
I don't remember who it was to, but
yeah.
He did. So he's in the B League now.
Right.
But he won the C League.
Yeah.
Last year.
Yeah, so he's a pretty strong player. Hoshiai, I believe she does have a YouTube channel. It's reasonably popular for Go players in Japan. So
yes, and she's also a regular on the Nihon Ki-in channel commentating.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, my apologies. Shunjae actually won the B League last year.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I got that wrong. I thought he won the C League, but no, he actually won the B League.
Oh wow, so he's in the A League.
And yeah, he lost to Shibano in the stepladder challenger tournament. So yeah, he's now in the A League.
Yeah. So it's just, okay. Yeah, of course. So he's actually really strong. So he's coming about 4th in the A League at the moment.
Oh yeah, he's actually not doing too bad. He could get promoted.
He's in it with a chance. Definitely one of the contenders. Yeah.
So. And of course, Shio Hoshiai recently had her best ever result, making the final of the title match of the women's Hanimbo.
Yeah. So congrats to these two for making it. So we can cover the Senko
Wait.
Cup.
There are two things that I still want to cover.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
One of them was a game in Korea, the IBK Cup semi-final.
IBK Cup, yes.
So the IBK Cup is a very new Korean tournament, but it's already one of the most prestigious women's tournaments in Korea.
Yeah.
The first edition was run last year, and it was won by, of course, Choi Jeong.
Who else? Yep.
Yep. And this year we've talked about it before. There's already been some major upsets. Choi Jeong has lost. Yujin has lost. Kim Chae-young has lost. And this semi-final is between Jeong Yujin, she was the one who beat Choi Jeong in the first round.
Yep.
And Kim Eunji.
Yep.
Now, both of these players are extremely young. Kim Eunji is 15.
Right.
And we already know of her as a prodigy. Jeong Yujin is 16.
Right.
So there's going to be a teenager in the final.
Yeah.
And this game was... I do want to comment on a couple of positions in this game.
Yep.
Now, Jeong Yujin, I've seen some of her results. I have to tell you, I'm not really sure of her style, but I will say she is not afraid of losing. She
Right.
she seems willing to play. She doesn't get scared of anything.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't seem to have any sort of aversion to losing, and I say that because she loses a lot of games.
Right.
But okay, wait. Can you go back a few moves here?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the first critical moment.
Yeah.
Now, here I believe that Black needs to play something like C9.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Essentially, Black needs to keep those 3 stones around E7.
Yeah.
They need to keep RG for those stones.
Yeah.
So White now can't play something like F9 because then, F9. White can't play the net.
Yeah, like this
right?
one. Yeah.
Yeah, because Black can just Atari
Yeah.
at
Start
E9.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But instead, instead of playing C9, right?
Yeah.
Black just captures at B1.
Yeah. So captures.
Now this is I think this move is just to try and kill those 5 stones on the left.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work because now White just nets and those 5 stones, only 2 of them die.
Yeah. So
you think, okay, Black's at the very least secured the left-hand side, right, and secured that corner. It's not very big.
Yeah, it's tiny.
It's really not very big.
Yeah.
And now there's no RG.
Yeah.
Like those 3 stones are dead.
Yeah.
Right? They're not only like they're not dead. They're actually gone. They're already gone. There's nothing there for Black. And White's just got a huge advantage now.
Yeah.
Like AI said, it was at least 10 points.
Yeah.
Now, it's you would think that this is just unlosable now for White, who is Kim Eunji, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, this game does have some twists and turns. Let me find the next point that I wanted to get to. Okay, so so move 167.
Yep.
Okay, here. All right. Now, again, White is completely winning.
Yeah.
Now, what White should do is White should play something like L13. Just move that stone out, right?
Yeah.
That's fine. But White doesn't. White plays a safe move.
Yeah.
To basically secure that tiger's mouth, yeah?
Yeah.
But she essentially gives up that L14 stone.
Yeah.
And that loses like,
probably a few points.
Yeah, that loses like 5 points or something.
Yeah.
I mean, she secures that middle group, so it removes some RG, but she just completely loses that stone, and that brings it, much. It's now a much more competitive game.
Yeah, so basically just bad Yosei over here. Yeah.
Yeah, and then finally, I want to get to move 192.
Yeah.
Okay, now this Black group in the middle, it's never been completely alive.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
So Jeong Yujin has always had to, be wary of that. It's always been a weak group.
Yeah.
But here she makes an overplay. So here the game's already sort of even. White's maybe ahead by like 2 points or something like that, according to AI.
Yeah.
But Jeong Yujin plays L5. Now that is apparently White can now play something like J7 to remove I space.
Yeah.
And things become a lot more difficult for Black now. I think there might be some sort of co involving the L4 stone. I'm not entirely sure.
Right.
But I think it's something like that. Yes.
So.
And I guess Kim Eunji didn't want to. But by the way, at this point, it's a 1 hour main time game, and it's 3 40-second Byoyomis.
Yeah.
I think Kim Yoon-ji was down to her second Byoyomi, or maybe her last Byoyomi. So it's basically 40 seconds a move.
Yeah.
So she may not have had time to read out the ko.
Yeah.
But in any case, she opted not to go for it.
Yeah. So
and just played that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is obviously to prevent things like, I mean, if you did play here, okay, just imagine this happened, right? This is Sente, obviously.
Yes.
So to remove something like this, probably, so you just prevent that, okay?
Yeah.
But that lost her more points, I believe.
Well, no, it essentially by playing J7 at that point,
yeah,
AI was saying that ko was very advantageous for white.
Right.
Like instead of filling, no, sorry, I'm talking about in that variation where, if white played J7 in response to L4.
So
in response to L5, sorry.
Like that.
Yeah, if white played J7, the ko is very advantageous for white. That's what the AI is saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
But by not going for that ko, the game was back to even again.
Right. Yeah.
And from it was literally from that point onwards, it was literally like a half-point game.
Right.
The rest of the game.
Yeah.
And so it was, you basically just had to flip a coin, and in the end, sort of Yujin ended up making the second last mistake, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
And held. Yeah, she was the one who had the most nerves and won by half a point.
Yeah. So basically, to me, it's just a case of bad Yosei by Kim. So
it seemed. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, the thing was, I'm not sure if it was bad Yosei or just not taking the risks that she needed to take.
Right. Yeah.
I felt that their Yosei was actually. Well, I wouldn't say that their Yosei was poor. It was. It's Yosei is hard sometimes.
Yeah.
But the fact is that it shouldn't have even gotten to Yosei for Kim Yoon-ji.
Yeah,
she should have been able to play solid enough moves to, after this point.
Yeah, she got such a massive lead.
Yeah,
like from here, like even this connection, black still has to jump out. Like black.
So black is in Gote. Those stones in the bottom middle
are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points. After playing all of these moves, 6 points.
Yes, and white's got all that
influence.
Yeah.
Well, this is 4 points for white, so white has to make just 2 more points from this influence. Then white's got more out of this than black, basically. So so it's like 10. So AI says leads by about 10 points, basically. Yeah, it's crazy.
But I mean that, and it's. I have to say, Jeong Yujin's a fighter. And like I said, she's not afraid of losing. Last year, she lost 70 games.
70 games. Oh, wow.
70. Most players don't even play 70 games in a year.
Yeah.
But the thing is, to even lose 70 games, you have to be fairly good because you have to get to stages of tournaments where you can lose more than once.
Right.
And so she's ranked. Jeong Yujin isn't ranked in the top 20 in Korean women. She's about 23.
Yeah.
Kim Yoon-ji is ranked number 4. So it was Kim Yoon-ji was definitely the favorite, and she was overwhelming favorite after that corner, that bottom left corner. But I mean,
it just didn't happen for her.
Yeah, it just didn't happen for her. Like in
half a point.
Half. Yeah. From that start.
Yeah.
Who ended up being a half-point game. Just incredible. Baduk's just an insane game.
Insane.
And if that ever happens to you, if you ever win a massive corner and then you still end up losing by half a point, don't worry. It happens to the pros.
Yeah. Yeah. I recently was ahead by 50 points, and I almost lost it. In the end, I only won by half a point. So, yeah, almost. He almost
Humble
had
brag
me.
there.
Almost had me. Yeah.
But that means that Jeong Yujin makes the final.
Yeah.
I think this is her second final in a tournament, but it's definitely her first final in a women's major.
Yeah. And just a reminder again that Jeong Yujin beat Choi Jeong to get here. So
Choi Jeong and now Kim Yoon-ji.
yeah, so you can't say she didn't deserve it. Just looking at that. So yeah.
Oh no, she absolutely deserves it, and her win against Choi Jeong was actually even more convincing.
Yeah. So yeah, I remember that game. So
So that's the IBK Cup. One other thing I quickly want to mention is that the Kuksu Mountains International, the field for that has been announced, I think.
Yep, it has.
For
Yes.
every country. So Kuksu Mountains International, it's a 16-player tournament. It's basically the most prestigious tournament that's not a world major.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yes.
I think there are 8. It is a Korean tournament, so half the field is Korean.
Yep.
There are 3 Japanese players, and credit to Japanese Go Association, they've picked the 3 strongest players.
Yeah, arguably.
For the first time, in my opinion, the 3 strongest players,
Right.
Iyama Yuta, Ichiriki Ryo, and Su Xiaowan.
That's right.
And it's not often that the best players from Japan participate. When we've mentioned that before, it's because of schedule clashes.
Yeah.
Hopefully, there's no schedule clashes here that will force one of them to withdraw.
Yeah.
But from China, we have Mi Yuting, Ding Hao, and Zhao Chenyu.
Yep.
So 3 Chinese players.
Yep, not bad.
And 2 Taiwanese players, Wang Wanjun and Lai Junfu.
Yeah, Wang Yuanjun and Lai Junfu. Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Koje didn't participate. I don't think he's ever participated in this tournament.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, it's not a major, so it's not. Yeah, perhaps the Chinese Weiqi Association just doesn't really care about this one. I'm not really sure. The prize money is I think it's 50 million Korean won.
Right.
For first place, so that's about 50,000 Australian dollars.
Okay, still decent, but not.
Which is a decent chunk of change. But Koje has won bigger prizes just in Chinese domestic tournaments.
Sure.
So.
I mean, it's definitely not. To me, it doesn't sound like it befits a international tournament, but whatever.
No, but like I said, it's not a world major.
Yeah.
So, and the first 2 rounds, so it is single elimination with a 1-game final.
Yep.
So basically, if you win 4 games, you win, and the first 2 rounds are on the same day.
Right. Yeah. So it's a fast tournament as well.
It's a fast one. I believe it's 1 hour main time, or maybe 40 minutes. I'm not.
Right.
I don't remember.
Right.
But it's not more than 1 hour.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think we didn't exactly go through the Korean team, but
oh yeah. So I wasn't sure if we went through the Korean team last week, but we'll go through it now. It's most of the usual suspects. Yeah, Shin Jinseo, Park Junghwan, Byun Sang-il, Kang Dongyun, Shin Min-jun. They're the top 5.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
In Korea.
Yeah.
Kim Ji-sok and Kim Young-hoon, they're 7th and 8th. So all of the top 8 except for Lee Dong-hoon
right.
is competing. Lee Dong-hoon, of course, he didn't even enter the qualifiers.
Yeah.
And Ryon Sung-jin, who's not in the top 10, but obviously a bit of a legend.
Yeah. So he might come back in the top 10. Let's see.
Yeah, he might come back and he might even win the whole thing. You never know. But yeah, 8 very strong players.
Yeah. So, of course, last year was won by Byun Sang-il over Shin Jinseo. So
that's right. Yes.
So let's see.
And it was another one of those tournaments where every game is played on an online server.
Right.
Even if it's between 2 players of the same
country.
Country.
Yeah.
So Byung-sang-il and Shin Jinseo were playing around about 10 meters away from each other on computers.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Clicking buttons, clicking squares on computers.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully we can see the return to face-to-face competitions, which has just restarted in Australia as well. So, okay. So, okay. Is there anything else you want to cover before we move on to the calendar?
That's it. Thank you very much.
No worries. So let's move on to the calendar.
I have to say it's going to be a packed calendar
Next week. Yep.
All of these. So we've colored in green all of everything that's essentially a major semi-final.
Yep.
Or a final.
Right. Whoa, that's a lot. Yep. So, so we got finally the Gosei Game 2, which happened, I believe, 3 weeks after the Game 1.
I think it was maybe even 4 weeks. I'm not sure. It's been so long since Game 1.
Yeah.
But Game 2 is
happening
the 16th, which could well be the day you are watching this podcast. In fact, the game may have already happened by the time you watch this podcast.
Yes. Well, okay. Oh, I mean, it's gonna be a long game, at least 10 hours, I guess. So
Gosei is 4 hours each.
Right.
It's a 1 day.
Yeah, 1 day.
Game.
We finish in 1 day. And we got the Senko Cup final. Hopefully, we'll cover that next week. I think we will.
Oh, we didn't even go over the results of the Senko Cup.
Shall we?
Yes, let's do that.
Let's do that.
Senko, it happened today. Yeah, it just finished. So
it happened today. Yeah,
let's do it.
So now, of course, this is, to me, it's a bit of a shock, wouldn't you say, today?
Now, yes. Oh, no, these are huge. And I just want to preface this by saying there are 2 Senko Cups. So we already mentioned a Senko Cup in an earlier podcast.
Yep.
And that was the International Senko Cup.
That's right.
Right? Yep. That was the one that Asami won.
Yep.
This is the Japanese domestic Senko Cup.
Yep.
So it's the same name, it's the same sponsor.
Yeah.
But it's the Japanese version. Just like in Korea, there's a Kuksu Mountains domestic tournament and a Kuksu Mountains international tournament. And like in China, there's a Chuseolanke domestic tournament and a Chuseolanke Cup international tournament.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's the same thing here. So this is the domestic Senko Cup. And today was the semi-finals.
Yeah.
So first semi-final was between New Eiko.
That's this lady here.
That's that lady there. And she's facing Asami.
Yep.
The current international Senko Cup champion.
Yep. So that's that. And then we have
Game 2 is between we've mentioned her many times before, including this podcast.
Yep.
The prodigy Sumire against Fujisawa Rina, of course, the number 1 ranked women's player in Japan.
Yeah, I do want to quickly mention something here about the beef between the Sumire Nakamura family and Fujisawa. So basically, Fujisawa, if you recall, she just beat Sumire's father in, I believe, what was it?
Honinbo.
Honinbo's, yeah.
Honinbo qualifiers.
Final prelim. All right. And of course...
you can go on.
And Fujisawa, of course, has beaten Sumire before because Sumire was a challenger.
in the women's Meijin final.
Yeah. And did you know that when... Sumire's mother is also a Go player, but she's amateur. But when Fujisawa was an amateur player, she played Sumire's mother and beat her too.
Wow.
So yeah, there you go.
And not only that, but she's currently the reigning domestic Senko Cup champion, Fujisawa.
Yes. So I mean, if you look at this field, this set of semi-finalists, you would favor Ueno Asami and Fujisawa Rina, right?
Right.
I mean, but what happened today?
Well, they both lost.
This is crazy. I mean, because it just happened today, I haven't had the chance to go through the full Kifu, but I did, take a glimpse into the game every now and then. But Fujisawa Rina basically was, by the end of the game, was behind by maybe half a point, but because of Yosei, or maybe she was trying to do something, lost by a 1.5.
Yes, I think she was just trying tricks.
Yeah.
That lost her a point because
Yeah.
anything else was just going to solidify her half-point loss.
Right. So yeah, just trying to do something bit complicated. And New Eiko beating Ueno Asami. I believe it was there was some crazy fights as usual with Ueno involved. So but she lost. So it's a bit of a surprise. The finalists is going to be New Eiko and Nakamura Sumire. Now neither of them have won a title before. Have won a competition.
Is that true? I'm going to check. I know that Nakamura has not won an official tournament.
Right. Yeah.
I'll just check that New Echo hasn't won one.
Right. So basically, yeah. Whatever happened.
Yep, she hasn't. No, she hasn't.
So
neither of them have won
a
tournament. Yeah.
Yeah. So whatever happens, there's going to be a new champion. So yeah,
yes, that's fascinating. And to be honest, it could be either of them. I think they're fairly evenly matched.
Yeah.
They've both beaten each other in the past.
Right.
They've played each other a few times.
Right.
But yeah, the game will be on Sunday.
Yep.
So I hope to be watching that.
Yep.
We could be seeing. Yeah, we could be seeing history.
Yeah. And that will be live stream. Yes. So there's a YouTube link there as well on our calendar.
On our calendar, that's right.
Yep. Yep. And of course, the next week the E League will be continue to happen until the 20th or 21st, one of them.
Yep.
And we have the final of the Weiqi Construction Cup. Here we go. Kang versus Park Junghwan consecutively for 3 days.
Now, yeah, something I also want to mention is that Kang Dongyun is also in another final, the Yongseong final, against Shin Jinseo. So he's playing Park Junghwan in one final and Shin Jinseo in the other.
Yep. So that's going to be crazy. The other IBK Cup semi-final, Choseong-a versus Park Tae-hee. You would say that Choseong-a is now favorites to win the tournament.
But who beat Yujin in the first round?
It might have been Park Tae-hee.
It was Park Tae-hee.
Yes,
that's right.
That's right. That's crazy. Hapcheong Country Elite. That's
okay. So this one we haven't mentioned, but I do want to talk about it in next week's podcast.
Right.
This is basically one of the. It's not the rookie King competition, but it's essentially a rookie tournament.
Right.
So we have. I don't think we've mentioned Kwon Ho Jin or Kim Byung-seo in the past, but I will talk about them in next week's podcast. Yeah, I do know some things about those players, but
all right.
We don't have to cover that today.
Yeah. All right. So,
but it's a pretty prestigious rookie tournament, and the final will start on I think Wednesday.
Yeah, awesome. Of course, it's won by your Shin Jinseo. In the past.
Tuesday, I think.
Yeah. So it's be on.
Yeah, Shin Jinseo has won that tournament in the past. Yes.
And then we got the Park Jinseo versus Shin Jinseo in the.
Yeah. So on Wednesday and on Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
The Caltex Cup semifinals.
Yep, big ones. Awesome.
Yeah, big ones. That's one of the biggest.
Yeah.
And also the Myungin elimination rounds happen next week.
Right.
So I believe Choi Jeong versus Byun Sang-il will be the first game on Monday.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So over 4 days consecutive. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Lots of games to look forward to. Pretty awesome. All right. So that's another wrap for the week. Thank you, Gaza.
No worries.
Yeah. And we'll see you next week.
All right.
All right. See you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.